So in this presentation, we're going to look at replicating data via the ION Enterprise Server Bus in Mongoose. We'll cover how the master of records and different satellite systems can communicate. We begin by looking at the basic architecture for data replication. Here we have the master of records, which could be any system, and it replicates data to satellite systems. For example, patient information portal and appointment management both have person data. In this system, a person is representing a patient. When a person or patient is updated in one of the satellite systems, data flows back through the ION Enterprise Server Bus as a process transaction requesting that the master of records process the update. Any updates which hit the master of records are then synced back out to all satellite systems as sync transactions, all of which flows again through the ION Enterprise Server Bus. Now we'll begin with a short demonstration of how this can work in practice in a Mongoose implementation. Now we're going to begin with a health information system that we've mocked up in Mongoose. And here we see our master of records or master patient information. Now here, for example, we could change Mr. Bruce Lee to Master Bruce Lee in our core health information system. And this being the master of records, when we do the save operation in our replication document outbox, what we're going to see is a replace operation for Master Bruce Lee. Now, coming from our master system, this is a sync transaction, and the sync transaction will go out to all satellites. Because we've also got our portal system in Mongoose, we can also see the incoming transaction. So if I do the refresh here, we see that Master Bruce Lee has come through as a sync transaction into our portal application, and on our portal we'll be able to see Mr. Bruce Lee change to Master Bruce Lee when we press refresh. So this is our master of records syncing updates to all of the satellite systems. If, for example, we're using our portal independently, and being Mongoose, we can use our portal application as a standalone form as shown. In here we can search for the mouse family and find both Mickey and Minnie. We can also search by social security number or any other attributes we've got to find a particular individual. Now, if we don't find the individual that we're interested in, we can create a new record in here. For example, we can create a Ms. Jane Doe, and we can also add an email address or phone number or anything else for Ms. Jane Doe. And once we have that record there in our portal, we can save this. And what this is going to do, if we go back to our Mongoose replication inbox, we should see that this time we're going to get a process transaction coming back in. So here's our process transaction for Ms. Jane Doe that's gone out and has come back in. As it's a process transaction that's coming from our portal back into the master of records, the master of records will also sync to our other satellite systems. So not only do we get the process, but we also get the sync transaction so that any secondary satellite systems are updated when we do an update in one of the satellite systems. In our master of records, we can see that we now have a new entry for Ms. Jane Doe, who is female. We can make any changes we need. We can update it in here. For example, we could assign a birth date of November the 1st, 1991 in our master of records. Save that. Those changes will then sync back out to all of the satellite systems via our outbox. And here we see the date coming through, coming into our portal and going back out to the portal here. So if I just do a search for family name Doe, I can see that Mrs. Jane Doe has come back and we now have the birth date presented. Now in the ION desk, what's happening is all of the person bods are being transmitted, and ION intercepts all of the person bods who are reflecting our patients, and we see every time a process or a sync happens, the person is processed, it comes out of our satellite system, the document representing the bod information is transmitted as a raw XML file, the same document that we see in our replication document inbox and replication document outbox, and in here we see the details of the person who's being processed. So for example, family name Doe. So if we close that down, We can see that every time we have a process, we also have a sync operation back to all of the satellite systems. So as well as records coming in, they're going out, and everything that flows through ION also ends up in the Infor cloud. Now how this is achieved in Mongoose is we map the BOD XML file using XPath statements to replication documents. These replication documents represent all of the incoming and outgoing transactions. So on the outgoing transaction, for example, we have a number of elements, and these elements represent the details being sent. So here we see the given name property, the middle name property represented as that, and we can also send out constants. So where we have given name referencing a property, we can also place literals on here to indicate what kind of data is being sent through. And how that is represented in the XML document is, if we look at the transaction that was sent through, we have given name, which is Jane, and then we have the language ID as an attribute, which is a hard-coded constant. This again could be soft-coded if you have this information as properties within your data. Now in this presentation, we've seen how the master of records will sync to all satellite systems. We've also seen how the satellite systems can ask the master of records to process their changes and then resynchronize those with all other satellite systems. ION routes all incoming and outgoing BOD transmissions, and Mongoose can both send and receive BODs, which can be mapped directly to IDOs or intelligent data objects and stored in the application database of Mongoose. If you'd like more information, please visit the Mongoose portal or tweet us at Infor Mongoose. Thank you for watching.